Today I have an app to try out that lets you take pictures of fish and then attempts to identify them. It is an Android app called FishYI, which uses artificial intelligence and deep learning to identify your freshwater and saltwater aquarium fish. So in this video, I want to actually try out the app, show you a quick tutorial, test it on some pictures I found online, to give it a base test, and then to try it live on my actual fish and see how it does just picking out live pictures of fish. So first I just want to start off with an overview of the app. So here you'll see it on the Google Play Store. It's only available for Android right now that I'm aware of. You'll see it does have 4.2 stars for its rating and over 10,000 downloads, so it seems pretty legit. I already have it downloaded here, so I'll go ahead and open it. And then just for a quick overview of the app, so the ID fish is the main portion of the app. It's where you can open your camera and just look around and then take pictures and it'll identify it. And also just choose an image and it'll choose an image on your phone. And then you just press the ID fish to ID it. There's a little side panel, just information about the app. And then there is a fish database, and this shows all the fish, both freshwater and saltwater. You can switch between them. And then you can search angelfish, for example. And it has a little bit of sorting just by scientific name, by the common name. And you can see all of them. There's a decent amount, but not too many. And I know one thing they're working on is expanding it more. But for IDing fish, the main portion of the app, first I'm just gonna show you real quick how it works. So let's start off here by just selecting some images. And we'll start off real easy. We'll just start off with an Oscar here. You can crop it if there's more than one fish in the actual image. And then you just hit ID my fish. And it'll show you the results. Sometimes there'll be multiple, but it'll give you a confidence in that. And as you see, it says Oscar over 99%, which is correct. So off the first bat, it's very good to see that it identified simple, very common fish. So I just wanted to do a few more. So we'll do a beta here, expect it to get it right away. And yeah, Siamese fighter, which is a beta, got that at 98%. So far still good. Next we'll go on to a neon Tetra, and I got that as well, over 98%. Try a zebra danio, and zebra danio got that almost 100%, very close, so it's very good. Now let's go on to a little bit less common ones. So first here I have a golden balloon ram, so I'm wondering if it'll get that. Probably not, but maybe it'll just get a golden ram or a type of ram, so we'll see. And it did get a ram cichlid, 99%, so I guess it just puts the most common form of that group of ones, which is good because they'll all be pretty much the same care guide, so I do like that. And then lastly, I do want to try a less common fish. It's called an Elliati Cichlid. I might be pronouncing that wrong, but I don't expect this to be in the database, so we'll see if it gets another cichlid or what it does with it. And yeah, it all got them pretty low. Ram cichlid was closest, but only 27%. So I kind of would like it to say it if it didn't think it could find and identify it. But I guess you have to look at the numbers. So yeah, it's probably just not in the database, but it did get some cichlids that were closest to it, which is good. Then now we can even try something that is just not even a fish. Because I would have probably liked it to guess that it wasn't a fish, or say it can't identify it. Because 60% on that is kind of high for something that isn't even a fish. Now that we saw it guess pretty clear on pictures I found online, I wanted to give the app a real test and take it live on pictures of my fish. So first here, I went with the yo-yo loach. And as you can see, once it did guess it after cropping it, it got 99%. So it guessed really good on a yo-yo loach, which was very good to see for the first thing. Next, I went and tried my angelfish here. And I thought this picture was a pretty good angle. Like, I think it's pretty clear it's an angelfish. I guess it's not perfect. But once I actually went through and cropped it and it guessed it, it did pretty bad on it. It actually guessed it was a green phantom pleco first with 32%, and then angelfish second with 30%. Where that's not very good in my opinion, especially because I think it was a pretty good angle. It could have been better, I guess, but kind of disappointing on that. Next here, I tried Corydoras, and I have false FishYI Corys. I'm gonna guess that they're not actually in the database, but it did guess FishYI Cory. Although the confidence is very low, I would expect that to be much higher than 30%. I also would have guessed there to be other Corys too before Bashurs and Hillstream Loaches. So I tried my mollies real quick. Now mine are juveniles, so I wasn't sure how well it would do, and it actually did pretty bad on them. You'll see here mollies are at the very bottom, low percent, but I tried several times with several different ones, and they all kind of were showing silver dollars or other fish first, which isn't the best. And then here I did my Randa, which I thought would be an easy guess, but it turned out to not be as well. Later looking it up, they don't have Arandas, they only have normal goldfish, but even that was only 23%, and swordtail like 25%. That definitely should be switched, and I just think it's kind of an easy guess, so I was surprised at that. Next I switched over my 65 gallon, and here are my clown loach, which it did amazing on, just like the yo-yo loach. Pretty much got it almost 100%, so it seems loaches do very well with this app. And then lastly here, I just tested it with a blood parrot, and it also did very well in blood parrots. That was the only species it guessed, and it was almost 100% confidence. So very good on them as well. Alright, and so I just wanted to wrap up the video here, giving my final thoughts on the app. So on taking live pictures of the actual fish, which I think is the real use case of the app, it did mediocre. It really depended on the species. Some species it did great on, specifically both of my yoaches, clown loaches and yo-yo loaches, got pretty much almost 100%, and that was really the only fish listed. I got blood parrots as well, basically a very high percentage, and was the only fish listed. But some of the other ones it did either mediocre on or just did poor on. And they were angelfish. It kind of did all right. My just blue angelfish, blue ghost one, it did very well on, but my Pinoy one in this tank, it did not do so well on. It seemed to sometimes get it as number one, but the percentage was kind of mediocre. Corydoras, it surprisingly didn't do too well on. It did get it, but the percentages were pretty low. Mollies were kind of all over the place. They were always on the list, but they were low, and there's always a fish higher. Now I do have juvenile mollies, and my mollies are a hybrid of silver and black, so they kind of aren't just a purebred one, so that's also it. It also doesn't mean juveniles. And then lastly, Aranda goldfish. It looks like they only have just normal goldfish in their app database, but it still, goldfish was less than other species, and it really didn't guess that too well, which I would think that would kind of be an easy guess. But overall, the thoughts on the app are, the good things are it's very easy to use, very easy to pick up. Really, anyone, if you're just familiar with phone apps, you can pick it up and just know right away what you have to do to use it. So that's very good. There's no really learning to it. You can pick it up and just start playing with it right away. And I just like that it's simple. The next is just a fun app to play around with. You know, even though it wasn't 100% accurate, you know, I think everyone could have a little bit of fun just when you're looking at your tank. If you wanted something else to do, to be a little bit more interactive, just pick it up and see how it does guessing your different fish. Now, the bad things about the app, and I'm coming at these from a kind of constructive point of view, things that could be improved on in the future. The first is just the user interface. It could use some work, it could be more modern, look a little nicer, things format a little better. That's a small thing, but I think it's a small thing that would make the app just be much more professional. Next is, it only includes the most common fish. After I played around with it, I looked at the database, kind of scrolled through it. It really only includes the most common fish, not that many. I mean, there is a decent amount on there, but it's kind of your standards of what you would see if you went like to a PetSmart or Petco, those kind of fish. And so I really think it would be beneficial for the app to get a lot more fish, especially more uncommon ones, because then that's kind of probably more of the use case of being in a local fish store and seeing something that isn't labeled or you never heard of, and then being able to look it up quickly that way. The next, which I was kind of disappointed on, is if you actually click on the fish after it guesses it and look at the care that the app provides is very limited. I really think, especially since kind of the big use case that I would see is being in a fish store, seeing a fish you don't know much about or that isn't labeled, and being able to get information quick on it. The information was very limited. It basically just said the tank size, the aggression level, and names, and maybe like one other thing, and then it gave a link to actually a full article on it, which I guess is good, but I would like to see just some more details like pH it's recommended at, hardness, temperature, that kind of thing, just right there, so you at least have an idea if it does fit your tank or not. You know, obviously there's more research to be done for any fish, but the information was very limited to where, like, if I had looked up a fish there, I really wouldn't get much, and then I have to click on the article and read through it just to get what I wanted. Overall, to wrap this up, the app does show a lot of potential for the future. So the base functionality works pretty well, but it really could just use a lot of improvements, a lot more species in the database. Showing more information to the user per species would be very helpful. And then I think those would be a big two things to just get working right away, and then slowly making sure the accuracy is better over time. But some species are very good, so I think just, you know, being able to train the models in it more will help with that a lot. And I think it has a good base to it for guessing the species. That wraps up the video. If you did enjoy it, please give a like on the video and consider subscribing to my channel. I post aquarium content focused around education and technology, as well as sharing my own progress and experience in the hobby on my tanks. And anyway, thanks for watching. I'll catch everyone in the next video.